What is up, everyone? Welcome to another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. I know I said yesterday that might be the last video that I'm recording, but I can't let you guys hang around without being prepared for this freaking Otherworld event. So in today's video, we're quickly going to talk about the 6 teams that I've used this week in the challenge, the Continental Bosses, and then we're going to talk about the Otherworld event. So right here, you're going to need exactly 8 different teams. Now I'm going to give you guys some ideas on how you can build up 8 different teams that will get you to 200 million damage. The whole goal is to get to the 200 million mark because, as you guys can probably notice right here, we have the threshold 22 million damage. You get these exploration progress items, and then exceeding the highest rating grants more of this currency. Now at the moment, there's literally no real incentive to try and grind this unless they are giving us Echo of Clepsydra somehow. I don't think they'll be doing a leaderboard, or anything like that. But you still kind of like want to aim for the 200 million damage. Now, this is from my main account, guys. This is on the test server, but the teams that I'm about to show you are from my main account. We talked about the free-to-play teams the other day. Today, it's time to talk about the main teams. So, I'm playing the game on BlueStacks because I'm logged in on the test server. I forgot how trash the games feel on BlueStacks compared to a PC client. It feels like, I don't know, I'm playing a completely different game. Super laggy and all that stuff. But let's quickly go over the teams that I've used this time around. This is the final week of the Continental Challenge. And I've got 1.8 billion damage in total with my teams, right? I'm quickly going to walk you through what teams I've used, basically to kind of like give you a bit of an idea. And then we're going to focus on the main topic, which is building 8 teams that will score 800 million damage. Starting with Talendor. So on Talendor, I actually went with a poison team. You can run either a poison, either a necro, but that's mainly better if you're doing it when you need the 8 teams. Right now, you want to use the full power of Lelwonis and Urzilas together versus Vesca, right? But this is the poison team that I used in here. Let me just quickly see if I can actually show you the skill timing. It seems like I cannot, but the skill timings are nothing too crazy. I'll try to go to a different dungeon team to show you basically that. Then we had the Lelwonis team, the Summoners versus Vesca. That's why I had to build a second poison team versus Talendor to try and get the maximum possible damage versus Vesca. Now, the thing is, I've been extremely busy for the last 1 week. Was really not the right time for me to engage with an event like this, competitive, because I do not have the time to retry the runs 20, 30, 40, 50 times for each one of the teams to min-max the score. But the Lelwonis team can actually do even more damage versus this boss with better RNG. The third team that I used was versus Chrysos, and that was a Dauntless team. Basically, 4 Dauntless characters. Nathaniel survived all the way to the 5 minutes mark. 230 million damage. Now, I could probably improve that damage as well by rerunning the team a couple of times, swapping some pieces of gear and stuff like that to overall make it better. I haven't even finished the talents on Sura from what I've noticed. But 230 million damage, pretty good. Then the 4th team was basically versus Twitch, and that was the Rally team. Kind of like the only place where you want to use Rally because they will perform pretty bad everywhere else, except if you have them with Inspiration 5, if you're a Mega Kraken, right? But 220 million damage. I did retry this team probably like 10 plus times, and this was one of the highest scores that I've managed to get with them on the account. But hey, the inspirations are really not crazy. I don't have the Psychic or crazy either for them. Then the 5th team was on Tamar, and that was another poison team. The thing is, you can run Twitch to do some crazy things, and you don't need Lothair. You don't need all of the crazy poisoners in the same team. You can split them and easily make 2 teams. The good thing is that for the new event, you can attack the same boss 3-4 times if you want to. So you can run both of the poison teams versus Tamar without a problem, and that will be much better damage anyway. But we had Twitch, we had Vikana, we had Gigel. Gigel can be replaced by Eli. We have Elminster as a support in here. You can run Ogok if you want to, if you have him available. And we had Corin. And the final team was my wild team versus Viniara, which managed to score 350 million. This could have definitely go up to like 380 maybe. Maybe even higher than that with a perfect explosion. But heck, I do not have the time and patience for that, unfortunately. Either way, I'm pretty happy with the result on the main account. Most likely, I won't end up in being in the first place because there are quite a few different people that did not use their runs. And we have this guy right here, which is about to knock me down as soon as he's going to run his 6th team. Because at the moment, he only used 5, right? So he's going to drop me down 1,000,000%. But I'm hoping for top 10. If I make it, it's good. If not, top 20 is great as well. Because overall, that's kind of like my end goal for this season. Top 20. And for the moment, we are kind of like on track with it. We are rank 17 on the server, so definitely not too bad. There's no difference if I do rank 17 or I do freaking rank 11, right? Like, it really doesn't matter. 4 to 10, and then you have 11 to 20. And the rewards are more or less the same. For 4 legendary scrolls, I could not give a flying F, okay? The main thing that I want to get is these tickets. But let me just quickly show you the timings for each one of the teams, guys, because I guess that's pretty important for a lot of you. I can't do it directly in the event because I finished all of the runs, but I can go in one of the dungeons and just swap in the teams to basically show you how that plays out. Even though positioning-wise, I might have to adjust them, it doesn't matter. So this is going to be a brief showcase, guys. We're not going to spend a lot of time in here. You see how laggy it is on BlueStacks? Oh my freaking god. I'm so happy that the game has a client. So let's start with the team that I used on Calendar, the Poison team. These are the builds on them, as you guys can probably see. The artifacts. This is the skill timing on them. The red being at the bottom. So that's basically what we have on. You want to have as much skill haste on her as possible so she can keep this freaking thorny poison up to 20 stacks all the time to have higher damage. The thing is, it will get a job done, right? It will get a job done. You don't even need her in there. You could potentially run an Eli, for example, and you're still going to perform pretty damn well. Let's see if we are saving the positioning. No. So basically what I've done for the positioning, I've done it like this. Up, you go like that, and like this. And he's going to jump anyway on one of the sides. But she's at a distance because she has the white fan artifact. Then, moving on to the next team. And that was the Necro team that I used on Vesca. Let me just see if I can find it. There we go. So these are the builds. Basically, you want to have Witches on Voresh. You want to have the Prismatic on Urzilas to make sure that your team survives. Skill timing for this team is the following. Now, this will require you to adjust it based on how much damage your level 1 does, how much of a jump you're getting from the 190 million mark up to the big explosion, right? But this is what I have been running. And no manualing on Centralia at all. It's just full auto from the start. I do want to give a big shout out to my buddy Liveranov, who actually shared some of these strats with me as well. I will leave the link to his channel. Go and show him some love. He's actually doing some content as well on the game. That's basically the Necro team. And positioning wise, let me just quickly show you what I had on this one, but very similar with what I previously had. Basically, he's gonna tank Voresh, Lelwanis, bang, and the bird. Doesn't really matter, whatever side you guys want to, but that is the positioning for this team. Then, if we're gonna move on to the next one, what was the third boss? Twitch, right? So for Twitch, we actually used Rally. What is it? My god. The freaking lag. This is the team right here. Basically, you want to build them with 60% crit rate. You don't want to build them with 100% crit rate because Lorantil will give them a crit rate buff. Remember that before you're building them. Skill timing, that's it. They are running wild. Now, the important thing to make sure your team stays alive is skill timing Gillian. If you're not skill timing her, you're always going to lose one of the damage dealers. If you skill time her and she cleanses right before the enemies attack and you don't have poison stacks, you're gonna get minimal damage, okay? And it's no point to basically do anything else with it. But this is the skill timing for it. You let them run wild on the recast, and positioning for this team was the following. Basically, we only use ranged characters, so I had them exactly like this, okay? This was the positioning for this team. Very important for him to be in the second line so he can apply defense down on all of the Twitch bosses, because there are 3 in total. Then, moving on to the next team, I think was Chrysos or Vinyara, one or the other, doesn't really matter. But my Chrysos team was the following. Full Dauntless. Let me just use it. These are the builds on them. You do need to get a couple of kind of like health thingies, like the HP ones to regenerate HP. And that's mainly on the melee characters, on Nasty Jenka and on Sura. Sura will be the tank in here, so you want to build Sura with higher stats, just to make sure he's going to be able to tank for you the boss. Skill timing, we have the following. As you guys can probably notice right here, the default on Ivelios is 11.9, for whoever is curious. And then positioning-wise, we had the following. Sura was right there, Nathaniel was right there, and they were like this, okay? Nasty Jenka is going to jump anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You can even do it like that if you want, but the whole idea is for all of them to get healing from Nathaniel, okay? Very, very important. Then, moving on to the next team, we have the fire team that I used. This time around, I actually used something a bit different. Once again, big shout out to Liveranov. We used fire, but we used a different character. There we go. So we use Jern instead of Brody. You can use Jern instead of Chrysos. You can use even Dane instead of Jern if you don't have him. But these are the builds on this team. You need him in this set to make sure he's gonna stay alive. Very, very important. So he's regenerating HP. The gear on the rest is pretty much the gear from my Temporal Vortex without the healing gear, because I don't need it, so I can push more damage. And skill timing on them is the following. So the thing is, they will get some ultimate energy from Jern's passive, okay? That's why I have some of them on a faster cooldown, as you guys can probably notice right here. And this is what worked for me with Jern. 10.3 to 20 seconds. If I had him at 10 and 19, he was desyncing all the freaking time, okay? But that is my own skill timing. That's how I've done it for mine to work. Without this skill timing, for me, Jern was not working. Maybe because of the inspiration, maybe at some level he gets to deplete more ultimate energy or something like that. That could be the thing. Not 100% sure. Positioning for this is very easy. You just chuck in Jern at the front to tank. He's going to be the tank, right? Where is he? And then you just put the rest around, however the heck you guys want to. It really doesn't matter, because the rest will not get hit. So he needs to be at the front. And the final team, guys, which was my other poison team versus Tamar, was the one with Alminster. Now, this is an option too. There's so many variations for these teams, guys. It's crazy. This is another option. But I've used this one. And I could have gotten a much better score in here if I would have been a bit more patient and play around a bit more with the teams. But I decided not to do it. Either way, that's what I had. Use Ogok instead of Alminster if you don't have him. Use the not a Blast Jan, the Horn, and you're going to be able to get even more damage like that. But these are their builds. That's basically what gear we have on them. Alminster will heal with this set. If you're running Alminster, you need this set on him, okay? Because that will heal him. Heal the rest, and he needs the resistance. Then, if we are talking about skill timing, that's what we have on these ones. They are on default, okay? That's it. The damage dealers are on default, except him. He will drop some of the ultimate energy on the enemy. So you need to keep that in mind when you're doing his skill timing. Then in terms of positioning, I can't remember it 100% sure, but I'm gonna try to replicate it. So the main tank for me in here was him. He was like that. The thing is, I want these two to don't get hit by the boss, by the decreased attack, okay? And I think I've done something like this, right? And the boss, Tamar, will only hit these three to get a decreased attack, while the other two will not get hit. But Elminster will still put the crowd control immunity on the rest. You see, no skill haste on him. And sometimes they might get a stun, and I'm talking about the damage dealers. If it doesn't time it perfectly, Elminster, which will happen, but that is not a problem because they're still going to be able to push in crazy, crazy damage. That's it for the teams that I've used, okay? Let's talk about the teams you should use to have 8 teams, okay? 8 teams versus this Otherworld event on the test server. That will start because it will be in the game too. So, versus Stelendor. If you want, you don't have to attack him. You do not need to use a team versus this boss. But if you want to have that option, if you want to have an idea for a team, you can run Poison, like this team right here, if you want to. They have no builds. I showed you builds before. It's just to give you ideas of units. This is the exact same team, more or less, that I used on my main account. And you can run it in the exact same format as you can see it right here. But this will perform much better versus Tamar if you replace Frorbart with Ogok. And then you have 2 teams in there if you have Elminster, right? So that's going to be an easy peasy 200 million damage in there. Then, you do not need to go and do freaking 500 million damage versus Vaska anymore, okay, with your Necro team. So you can split your Necrosis team. You can bring Urzilas in this team, Estella, Zodak to apply the defense down. You can bring Ladelia in. You can bring Premza. And with that, you're literally going to get 200 million damage. And you position them like this. 200 million damage, easy peasy. Then, moving on to the next boss. I showed you 2 teams for this one. No need for more because you can attack the same boss multiple times. Vaska. We're going to be able to use quite a few different teams in here. Starting with the very first one, which is Frost. Of course, that is with Vitar if you have her available. And this is a very solid team. Velocia, you literally just need Vitar and Losenia in here to put over 200 million damage, okay? You can make it even better by dropping him out of the team if you want to. And instead, if you want to bring in even better damage, you can probably bring in a Drist and do more damage. And he can tank as well. Easy peasy. The main idea is you want to have a melee character so it doesn't gain the invisibility. And all of the ads move at the front. So Losenia can apply the Frost on them and Vitar can nuke the heck out of them. Then you can run a Necro team without Urzilas. You can run this team right here. Witches remains on Zarlot. I was going to say Zadok. On Zarlot. Or you can run that on Vorash because he's in the team. Or you can drop Zarlot out of the team, not Zadok. And bring in a different character. Heck, you can bring him in like this. And easy 200 million damage. Easy 200 million damage, okay? Then you can bring in another Frost team versus Vaska if you want. This one right here. But that means that you're going to be uncovered with Thorin for one of the other teams based on whatever you might be using. But this is another option. 200 million damage. I've done on my free-to-play 160. And that was without surviving till the end with crappy Psychic Core, no scrolls in all of the characters. And this can easily get you 200 million damage. Vidimir will be absolutely goated. If you want to check more skill timings, builds and stuff, I have videos on pretty much all of these teams. Then, that's pretty much it with Vaska. Like, we have options for 2 Frosts, options for Necro, and that's literally 2 or 3 teams versus this boss. And you have 1 guaranteed versus the other if you want to, or 2. Moving on to the next boss. It's going to be Twitch. Only 1 team in here. Even though Frost can perform good, because you can attack the same boss multiple times, there's really no point in doing it. So we're going to run Rally in here, as I showed you the team that I used on my main account. There you go, bang. This is their positioning. You've seen the skill timing already. And that's easy 200 million damage. Then if we go versus the next boss, Vinera, you can do 2 wild teams that do 200 million damage. One with Flora, one without. So if you're wondering, well, can I do 2 teams if I have Flora? Hell yeah, baby. Yes, you can. So let's start with the very first one. Let's do Vinera wild with Flora. We can run Flora with a bunch of rares and epics because she's so freaking busted. She's easily going to get 200 million damage. And we're going to run a team with Jornin here, just to kind of like give you an example. The exact same skill timings, more or less, as we had on the main team with the legendary characters. And you can put Witch's Remains on Foley, and the rest will push Flora to do crazy damage anyway to get you to the 200 million mark. Or you can run a different team without Flora and get 200 million damage. I already made a video on this team, so feel free to check it out. You can even drop one of the damage dealers from here, like Tunnel Nun if you want to, and bring in Dane to remove buffs as well, which will give increased attack to the other ones. Bang, easy 200 million damage. And then you can put Tunnel Nun in the team with Flora if you want to and do even more damage. But the main goal is 200 million. We don't have a leaderboard, or at least I don't think we have one, because we cannot find it anywhere on the test server. So based on the Chinese version and other things, we are not expecting to have a leaderboard. So you got 200 million damage, move to the next boss. You call it a day. You don't have to retry it. We're going to have alliance bonuses as well as stats, which will buff your entire team and do more damage easier. It's going to be golden. And your Psychic is going to get much stronger because you're going to get so much affinity solvent. Then moving on to Chrysos. One team only, and that's Dauntless. With Nasty Jenka, you can get to 200 million damage. Without Nasty Jenka, you can get to 200 million damage as well. But you need basically the other legendaries to do so. And you need another damage dealer instead of her. You can run, for example, Charlash if you want to. This is the team. This is the positioning. I've already showed you the skill timing and everything else related to it. And the final boss, which will be Tamar. Bang. You have 2 teams in here. One, this one on the screen right here, as you guys can probably notice. These are the characters. Very similar with what I've used, but a couple of different changes. So this can easily get you to the 200 million mark. Or you can replace Ogok with Alminster, still go to the 200 million mark. And then you have the Talender Poison team that is better if you use it versus this boss. The only thing is you cannot survive just with Frorbard. So you're going to need to bring in either Alminster or Ogok instead and get the 200 million mark as well. More than 8 teams right here. I gave you quite a few different examples. You can run to Frost, you can run to Necros, you can run to Poisons, you can run to Wild, and you have Rally and Dauntless. Tons of different options based on whatever you might have available on your account. As usual, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you all in over a week time. But I will have quite a few different videos prepared for you guys, so don't you worry. You're not going to get rid of me as easily. Much love, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.